तत्सवितुर्वरां रूपां ज्योति परस्य धीमहि यन्न सत्येन दीपयेत्. Let us meditate on the most auspicious form of Savitra, on the light of the Supreme, which shall illumine us with the truth, which shall illumine us with the truth, which shall illumine us with the truth. Now, this is of course Sri Aurobindo's Gayatri Mantra, and Sri Aurobindo had given it in response to a very special request made to him by Durai Swami Iyer sometime in the 1930s, early 1930s. Durai Swami Iyer was a Brahmin from Madras at that time, but he was a disciple of Sri Aurobindo and he used to visit the ashram regularly. Durai Swami had a son whose name is Mithran, and in the Brahmin families, the tradition is that when the boy grows up to a certain age, he is about to go to the school, around 8, 9, 10 years old, then they perform what is called a thread ceremony. And in the thread ceremony, the Vedic Gayatri Mantra is given to the boy by the Pandit, by the priest who performed the function. Now, Durai Swami had a very special request, in fact a kind of a condition, that he would do the thread ceremony of his son only if Sri Aurobindo gives him a Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra. The traditional mantra is from the Rig Veda, Rishi Vishwamitra 62:10. That is the traditional Gayatri Mantra from the Rig Veda, Vishwamitra. Now, Durai Swami was very particular that if Sri Aurobindo gives the Gayatri Mantra, then only he will perform the thread ceremony of his son. So Sri Aurobindo obliged him and simply wrote down on a piece of paper the mantra in Sanskrit. Tat saviturvaram rupam jyotihi parasya dhimahi yanna satyena deepayet. Now, the piece of paper on which Sri Aurobindo had written, that piece of paper is not available. But somehow the transcription of it, the copy of it was properly made, photocopy and kept, and we had that mantra in his own handwriting, you see. But the original paper is not, one doesn't know where it is, whether it is with Durai Swami or somewhere or there, no idea about that, you see. Now, the point is, we also have the English rendering of this mantra. Let us meditate on the most auspicious (best) form of Savitra, on the light of the Supreme, which shall illumine us with the truth. We do not know whether this is the translation rendering into English of the original mantra made by Sri Aurobindo himself. It looks that it is not his own rendering. It could be possibly the rendering made by Purani, who was a Sanskrit scholar. Purani was, of course, in close direct contact with Sri Aurobindo, and Purani was a great friend of Doraj Swami. So, it is likely that Purani has made the rendering into English. I mean, this is my surmise. Maybe the archives will have to verify and confirm and tell us the full story of it, about it. Now, in the mantra, Parasya Jyoti Dhimahi, the light of the Supreme, to meditate. The Sanskrit is such that it does not say explicitly, let us meditate on the most auspicious form, that it shall illumine us with the truth. That plural, us, let us meditate, illumine us, plural, is not really present in the original Sanskrit text in the mantra. Dhimahi, meditate. Basically, it simply means that meditate on the most auspicious form of Savitra. You see. Now, let us, I think there is, I'm not too happy about that. Why should Sri Aurobindo give us when he is giving that mantra specifically to a given person? If at all, I will put it, let me meditate on the most auspicious form of Savitra, on the light of the Supreme, which shall illumine me with the truth. I would say that is perhaps more appropriate, because you are invoking, you want something, you are not invoking on behalf of the collective. The mantra is given to a person, to an individual, you see, and he is invoking the light of the Supreme to give us illumination, the truth, you see. So from that point of view, I will simply say, let me meditate on the most auspicious form of Savitra, on the light of the Supreme, which shall illumine me with the truth. Because the Sanskrit phrase is like that, Dhimahi, it has kept hanging the subject. Who is meditating, that he has kept hanging, you see, Dhimahi. In Sanskrit that is possible, you see. Now, let me meditate. It is not only you or me or an individual, it can be great gods. Indra, he said, let me meditate on the most auspicious form of Savitra and give me the light of the Supreme. Because the light of the Supreme is even beyond Indra, beyond Agni, beyond Vayu, beyond Aryamana, beyond Bhaga, beyond Varuna. All those people is beyond them. They go and they meditate. Let me have the light of the Supreme for carrying out their work. They are meditating on the light of the Supreme so that their function is carried forward in the light of the Supreme. I am doing with my understanding, my perception, my capability of the truth, but I want your truth to be expressed. So even the great gods, the divine gods, they themselves, goddesses, Maheshwari, Mahakali, she will say, let me meditate. Durga, she will meditate, let me meditate, you see. So that way, there is a kind of universality when you say me, Dhimahi, for all that thing. All these people, in fact, even the Titans can say, even the Asuras can say, let me meditate on the light of the Supreme, because although it may look to be kind of negative work, but still I am serving a kind of a divine purpose behind it, the real truth of my opposition, the divine, it is that truth I want. It is that truth I want. So even the Asura can say, let me meditate on the light of the Supreme, so that the divine truth behind it, death, he can invoke that light of the Supreme to carry out the divine purpose in the presence, in the existence of death himself. You see. So that way there is a kind of a universality also. Now, as far as individual is concerned, let me meditate on the most auspicious. Meditate where? Do I meditate here? Do I meditate here? Do I meditate here? Where? In the heart, in the navel, below, down, where? We have got 7 chakras, 7 centers of activity. On each center, you can meditate and ask for the divine light, the supreme truth, to express itself in that particular place, you see. So when I say, let me meditate, I can meditate wherever is possible for me. Wherever there is a opening, there is an immediate opening. If the opening comes here, let me meditate here. If it comes here, let me meditate here. Wherever that opening comes, let me meditate on that and then receive the divine truth, so that then I can grow more and more in that divine truth, you see. So I will, in that sense, me is more important for me. Let me meditate. In fact, every part of the being can meditate. The mental being, the vital being in us, the vital Purusha, the inner being in us, the psychic being in us, every part, even the physical being, the subtle physical, can also open out and say, let me meditate, let me meditate, let me meditate for the divine truth, so that the divine possibilities of expression in me are carried forward, you see. So that is definitely possible, you see, divine possibility. So I will say, I will even go one step further, possibly, that if you really do this mantra at the physical level, if the physical cells of the body, they start chanting this mantra, the cells of the body, then they will say, let us meditate. The cells are now meditating. Let us meditate on the light of the Supreme, so that the light of the Supreme shall express itself in the truth in us, in the so the mantra then becomes not just a meditation, but a kind of a powerful word to establish the divine truth in every part, whatever part you want to open out. You want physical transformation? Let the cells start opening out and chant the divine mantra. Let us meditate on the most auspicious form of Savitra. So if that mantra can be really carried out at the physical level, then I think the possibilities of the transformation start opening out, you see. Now it is in that context, all this is happening here. Let me meditate, in essence, is more important for me. Unless the individual grows, the collective cannot really grow. So the first condition is each one must open out himself to the light of the Supreme, so that the light of the Supreme will express, show the divine truth, Satyam. Satyena Deepayet, it will illumine with the truth, you see. That is what Savitri is doing. Savitri's mantra is therefore that, Lord, give me the divine truth. She doesn't say divine truth. She says, Lord, give me the divine love. It is the same thing for her, you see. Give me the divine love, you see, prema. That is what she will say, you see. Now it is in response to that, the divine is now granting her, yes, 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 it shall be given, it shall be given, it shall be given. This will happen, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. And finally he says, then man and Superman shall be at one. and all the earth become a single life in the divine truth, in that reality. The spirit shall look out through matter's gaze, and matter shall reveal the spirit's face. See, again, we have seen this thing many times, and the yogi poet is consistent in the description. He speaks of Satyavan and Savitri as a dual power. And we have seen what the dual power means, to bring God down, to lift us to God. This triangle and that triangle, the descending triangle and the ascending triangle. So one aspect is the descending triangle of bringing God down. The other aspect is to lift the earth to divine, the ascending triangle. It is that thing, the spirit shall look out through matter's gaze. That is Satyavan. It is he who will do that. Spirit shall look. It is a divine descending triangle which will see that. And matter shall reveal the spirit's face. When that happens, then man and Superman shall be one. Until now, in the world in which we live, in a consciousness which we exist, there is a dichotomy, a division, a kind of a contradiction, an opposition between matter and spirit. Between matter and spirit, there is a sharp division. The way in which we live today, you see, it is that we shall be one. It is that dichotomy which will be dissolved, you see. And then the earth becomes a single life. In other words, if there is a dichotomy between spirit and matter, it implies that there is a dichotomy between man and Superman. Man stands at the lower, Superman at the higher. And all the earth becomes a single life. Now, does it mean that matter becomes spirit, spirit becomes matter, that there is no separate existence of spirit and of matter? It does not mean that. What is dissolved is a dichotomy between the two. What is the truth behind matter? It is that which will come. What is substantial in spirit? It is that which will come out. This is what man and Superman would mean. Man becomes Superman, Superman becomes man. It does not mean that it's a single race. It does not mean that it's a single race. Even the multitude shall hear the voice and turn to commune with the spirit within and strive to obey the high spiritual law. This earth shall stir with impulses sublime. Humanity awake to deepest self. Nature, the hidden Godhead, recognized. Now he is elaborating how man and Superman, how it will be a single life, how they will be at one, how it will become a single life. It is that elaboration of single life is what we have here. Even the multitude shall hear the voice and turn to commune. So there is a great hope for the multitude. We are not lost. You see, there is a hope. You see, and turn to commune with the spirit within and strive to obey the high spiritual law. Try to obey the high spiritual law. The multitude shall obey the spiritual law. Today, what we are obeying is the law of mind, of reason, of rational thinking. But beyond that is the spiritual law. What is the spiritual law? The spiritual law is oneness. The spiritual law is wideness of wideness. The spiritual law is Satyam Ritam Brahat. Satyam, truth. Ritam, the righteous, Brahad, the vast. That is the spiritual law. And strive to obey the high spiritual law. This earth shall stir with impulses sublime. That is a part of the spiritual law. Humanity, awake to deepest self. Nature, the hidden Godhead, recognized. So the Godhead is there inside the nature, but not able to understand, recognize that thing. Even the many shall some answer make, and bear the splendor of the divine run, and his impetuous knock at unseen doors. Even the many shall some answer make. They may not be able to respond fully, but at least they recognize that presence and make some response. A heavenlier passion shall upheave men's lives. A heavenlier passion. What is a heavenlier passion? Shall upheave men's lives, which will lift up like man. What? The heavenlier passion is their minds shall share in the ineffable gleam, their hearts shall feel the ecstasy of the fire, earth's body shall be conscious of his soul. So these are the examples of the heavenlier passion. Mind sharing the ineffable gleam, heart feeling the ecstasy and the fire, the divine fire. Earth's body is the physical, conscious of a soul within it. So these are the heavenlier passions. Earth's body shall be conscious of a soul. Mortality's born slaves shall unloose their bond. Mere men into spiritual beings to grow and see away the dumb divinity. At the moment that divinity is not able to express itself in us, therefore it is dumb. It is silent, it is quiet, mute, not speaking, not expressing at all. It is that which will now awake and start expressing itself in us. Mortality's bond slaves shall unloose their bond. So it is not going to be tied by mortality. We are tied by mortality at the moment. It does not mean that we will not go away. If we have to go away, it will be at our choice. It will be our choice to go or not to go. We will not be compelled to go away by somebody at a moment as it is. See, that is the condition. Means mortality's bond slaves shall unloose their bond. Now, this is the difference between what is immortality and what is deathlessness. Deathlessness is one thing and immortality is another thing. Mere men into spiritual beings to grow and see awake the dumb divinity. Intuitive beams shall touch the nature's field. So again, see, he is now describing for heavenlier passions, the spiritual law, higher law, then intuitive beam. It is our understanding, our knowledge now is going beyond reason. Intuitive beam shall touch the nature's field. Revelation stir the nature's rapt depths. So we have got intuition, we have got revelation. Actually, beyond mind, beyond reason, even the highest reason, there are higher possibilities of spiritual mind. And as I've been saying, that the post-human destiny, that is our understanding of things beyond human reason, will consist of four things: discernment, inspiration, intuition, revelation. Discernment, you immediately know whether it's correct or not. Inspiration, you get some kind of a knowledge from somewhere. Intuition, you see like a lightning flood. revelation, something is shown to you immediately, without reasoning in that. Discernment, dakshina, that is the name for discernment. Inspiration, Saraswati. Intuition, Ida, Mahi, these are the goddesses, the Vedic goddesses. So here, intuition and revelation, these are the Vedic goddesses who will be working here. The truth shall be the leader of their lives. Truth shall dictate their thought and speech and act. They shall feel themselves lifted nearer to the sky, as if a little lower than the gods. So you are almost touching gods, you see. Perhaps you are better than gods, you see. Because gods are tied to their own kind of knowledge, you see. For knowledge. So intuition, revelation, then knowledge. Knowledge shall pour down its radiant stream, and even darkened mind quiver with new life, and kindled and burn with the ideal's fire, and turn to escape from mortal ignorance. Obviously, there will be no more mortal ignorance than you see. The frontiers of ignorance shall recede. More and more souls shall enter into light. Minds lit, inspired, the awful summoner here, and lives blaze the sudden in the flame, and hearts grow enamored of divine delight, and human wills tuned to the divine will, human will tuned to the divine will. The separate self, the spirit's oneness feel. So it is that oneness which will be there now. These senses of heavenly sense grow capable, the flesh and nerves of a strange ethereal joy. So even the flesh will feel that ethereal joy. The mortal bodies of immortality. This so mind, and then of course life, and then the body, the senses, the flesh, the physical. The mortal bodies shall sense the growth of immortality. So the mortal body itself will see that the immortality is arriving to them. You see. A divine, so this is knowledge. So after following knowledge is divine force. A divine force shall flow to tissue and cell, and take the charge of breath and speech and act, and all the thoughts shall be a glow of sun, and every feeling a celestial thrill. Often a lustrous inner dawn shall come, lighting the chambers of the slumbering mind. A sudden bliss shall run through every limb, and nature with a mightier presence fill. So even the nature shall be filled up with that mightier presence, you see. Thus shall the earth open to divinity. So he has described the entire process, how this will happen. Man and Superman will become one, etc., etc. Knowledge, intuition, first intuition, revelation, knowledge, force, lustrous inner dawn, inner, the spiritual pain, and inside also. Often a lustrous inner dawn, inside also. Thus shall the earth open to divinity, and common natures feel the wide uplift, illumine common acts with the Spirit's ray, and meet the deity in common things. We don't see that divine presence in common ordinary things, that all these objects are actually the expressions of the divine that we don't see, but that will happen there. Nature shall live to manifest the secret God. Nature shall live to manifest secret God. God who is secret in nature. It is that God which will be revealed by nature. Nature shall live to manifest secret God. The Spirit shall take up the human plane. This earthly life become the life divine. We have already seen that this phrase occurs so many times and all that, you see. This earthly life becomes the life divine. So this is a great fruit won by Savitri. All that Savitri has obtained is this one. What Savitri has obtained is this from the divine. This earthly life becomes the life divine. All those 1,000 pages Sri Aurobindo wrote about the life divine, they are going to get fructified in the sanction of the Supreme. The Gnostic being, the divine rays, all that is elaborated. Nature shall live to manifest sacred God. Now, nature shall live to manifest. God is there, secret in nature. The divine is present in nature. It is therefore an endless expression of God by nature. Nature shall live to manifest. She is going to live endlessly because the manifestation of God is endless. All the possibilities, all the potentialities, everything is present in nature. They will start coming out more and more, more and more, more and more. The spirit shall take up the human being. So again, so nature shall live, spirit shall take up both. This earthly life becomes the life divine. Now we come to the last section, which is sheer poetry. The measure of the subtle music seed, the measure of the subtle music seed, the measure of the subtle music seed. That line itself is so beautiful, so poetic, so sweet, so enchanting. See, all that he was talking for half an hour, it was Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. See, basically, the measure of the subtle music. Well, I will not say Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It is Super Beethoven's. You can call it a Super Ninth Symphony. You see, the measure of that subtle music. See this how sweet this line is. And metrically is a very simple line. The measure of that subtle music, see, the measure, this is I am, short, long. Then measure of short, pirik. Then that subtle, short, long, I am. Then again, subtle muse, again I am. Then again, and I am. So you have got first I am, a pirik, and then again, remaining 3 I am, you see, basically. Now, it is that pirik, the measure of that subtle music, see, the ceasing of the music is as if given by that pirik, short. It is lowered down, and then again it starts flowing out.
But the ninth of Beethoven is not subtle.
Ninth
of Beethoven is not subtle.
Is not?
No. Very powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful. Yeah.
Not subtle at all.
Yeah. No, that is why we are calling it super Beethoven.
Yeah, this is not the same. This is subtle music is different.
No, because see what when you are saying is powerful, it is true. It's very powerful, very elaborate, very on a very grand scale. But then what it really lacks is subtle. See, the subtle is something different. Without as if singing, you are expressing something which is very sweet and musical. The subtle part is there, you see. It doesn't have the subtleness.
the jubilation.
Yeah. Ninth Symphony, I don't think it is that subtle. Powerful, okay, I agree. But subtle is different. The measure, the subtle music, see. So, and again, see how is music, measure, music, the alliteration of M, and the alliteration of S. S, subtle, music, seized. See, the alliteration, the sibilant flow is there in the language itself, you see. The measure of the subtle music seized, down to the hurry, swimming, floating lapse through unseen worlds and bottomless spaces, first sang like a star the soul of Savitri. He's joyous now, jubilant, absolutely jubilant. The rush is there, joyous rush is there. Down with the hurry, swimming, floating, triple adjective. The lapse is, you see, described by three adjectives. Down with the hurried, swimming, floating, you see, triple adjective, which is very rare in Savitri. There are a few instances of multiple adjectives, triple adjectives, there are few, but this is one of the powerful, sheer joy of expression, you see. Down with the hurry, swimming, floating, lapse. Again, the alliteration of floating, lapse, through unseen worlds and bottomless spaces, first sang like a star the soul of Savitri. So she is coming down now from above, sang like a star the soul of Savitri, like a star. Now the star is sinking not in the night but in the day. The star is, yeah, not in the night, but in the day. The star is sinking. And the poet is able to see the sinking in the day. Through unseen worlds and bottomless spaces, forced, sank like a star the soul of Savitri. See again, see the S, sang, star, soul, sa. That music continues, you see. That music, it is not really ceased. That subtle music is not really ceased, it's continued, but with a different kind of a joy, you see. Through unseen worlds and bottomless spaces full, sang like a star the soul of Savitri. Amidst the laughter of unearthly life, she heard around her nameless voices cry, triumphing an innumerable sound. So she's coming down and everybody jubilant. All the residents of different worlds, she's coming and saying now, coming down from unseen world, from the topmost down to the earth, the whole hierarchy of worlds, they are seeing Savitri coming, and they're happy with all those gifts. She's coming with gifts, and they're extremely happy about that. Amidst the laughter of unearthly life, she heard around her nameless voices cry. Now, these are not the voices of only men on earth, but even the gods and the beings in all the subtle worlds. They are crying happily, joyously, Savitri, you have brought a wonderful gift for this creation. Nameless voices cry, triumphing because it had never happened until now. She has brought that thing now. An innumerable sound, a choir of laughing wind to meet her came, a choir of laughing wind. Now it's only not choir angels or musicians, even angels, but even the choir of gods, of great singers, of the heavenly singers, Gandharvas, they are now there to receive her, came to meet her, you see. She bore the burden of infinity and felt the stir of all ethereal space. So she is carrying the burden of infinity. Now, what is the burden of infinity? What is the burden she is carrying? Savitri is carrying infinite. She is carrying the burden of this earthly life shall be the life divine. That is the burden of infinity. And she is carrying that burden with her, and they are happy about it, and felt the stir of ethereal spirit pursuing her in her fall, implacably sweet. A face was over her, rich seemed you, which seemed a youth, symbol of all the beauty. Eyes seen on, crowned us with peacock plumes of gorgeous hue, framing a sapphire, whose heart-disturbing smile insatiably attracted to delight, voluptuous to the embrace of a soul pursuing her. Now Savitri is coming down from heaven, from the transcendental world, from the ineffable world, from the unknowable realm. She is coming down. She is coming down, even passing through the Satchidananda, through the cosmic plane, down, down, down she is coming. And all along she is pursued by some mysterious face which seemed a youth, who was the symbol of all sweetness and love and joy, crowned with peacock plumes of gorgeous hue, framing a sapphire whose heart-disturbing smile insatiably attracted to delight, voluptuous to the embrace of her soul. Let us read the next sentence also. Changed in his shape. So he is following her. And while he is following, suddenly he undergoes a kind of a change. Change in his shape, yet rapturously the same, yet happy at the same time. It grew, that face, that it stands for that face. It grew a woman's, dark and beautiful, like a moon night with drifting star-gemmed clouds, a shadowy glory and a stormy depth, turbulent and wild and terrible in love. So what was voluptuous joy, happy and all that thing? Suddenly that face has become a woman's, terrible and turbulent, you see. Pardon me? Yeah. Now, the entire mystery is here. So actually what I will rather say is this. What is the boon Savitri has received? Savitri has received the boon of this life, this earthly life shall be the life divine. That assurance, that guarantee, that certainty is there. But I think the greater boon than that, the greater victory of Savitri than all the victories, she has won over death. She has won over death transformed also. She has received from the Supreme Himself the divine boon. But greater than all those triumphs of Savitri is this particular triumph, that when she is coming, she is actually bringing upon earth Krishna and Kali. That is the greatest boon. That is the real boon, not life divine. What matter? Who cares about that? Krishna and Kali have come. It is that which is the real victory, the real work which Savitri has accomplished. Pursuing her in her fall, implacably sweet, a face was over her which seemed a youth, symbol of all the beauty, eyes seen on, crowned as with peacock plumes of gorgeous hue, framing a sapphire, whose heart-disturbing smile insatiably attracted to delight, voluptuous to the embrace of a soul. Now, he has made it very clear that peacock plumes, that is the typical symbol of Krishna. He wears a cap with peacock plumes. Framing a sapphire, whose heart-disturbing smile, the sweetness of his smile, that is the quality of Krishna, description of Krishna. Voluptuous to the embrace of her soul. Change in it. So while he is coming down, he is changing himself suddenly into Kali. Change in his shape, yet rapturously the same. It grew a woman, dark and beautiful, like a moon night with drifting star-gemmed clouds. So there is moonlight, there are stars also, you see. A shadowy glory and a stormy depth, turbulent in will and terrible in love. What a line, you see.
Why does he change into Kali? Why does he suddenly change into Kali?
She has changed to Kali.
Yeah, why does Krishna change into Kali?
Yeah, we'll
What's
come.
the meaning of
Yeah,
it?
yeah, we'll see that. That is more important. You see, see, yeah. In fact, Krishna himself is of no use.
No use.
No. If an activity has to be got done, has to be performed, a work has to be carried out in time, in Kala, it is the dynamic Shakti of Krishna who will do it. So,
Dynamic Shakti of Krishna is Kali.
that is what it is. He has changed. Yeah. And turbulent in will and terrible in love.
But he's changing into Kali.
Yeah, because it is he, the dynamism of the Supreme, it is that which has to really come. If the life divine has to be there, not Krishna, but Kali. But Kali cannot come, and do her work unless Krishna is there behind her.
Yeah, why? This is the truth. Why?
Because that divine presence is required.
The Kali is also the divine presence.
No. See, there is a division of work. The support, the adhar, the sanction of the Supreme, that is more important. She will not do unless he says, yes, go ahead.
He says yes, go ahead.
He has to say, yes, go ahead.
Krishna.
Yes. He has to say, yes, go ahead. She will not do. She will do whatever he wants her to do. She is Dasi, the slave of God. She will obey his will. And in that dynamism, she will carry out whatever has to be carried out. Pursuing her in her fall, implacably sweet, a face was over her which seemed a huge symbol of all the beauty eyes seen on, crowned as with peacock plumes of gorgeous hue, framing a sapphire whose heart disturbing smile insatiably attracted to delight, voluptuous to the embraces of her soul, chained in its shame, yet rapturously the same. It grew a woman's dark and beautiful, like a moon night with drifting star-gemmed cloud, a shadowy glory and a stormy depth, turbulent in will and terrible in love. Now, see, this is an excellent example of mystical poetry, symbolic poetry. He doesn't say, oh, now Krishna has come, oh, now Kali has come. That is what prose writings will say. In poetry, it is suggested, it is indicated, it is hinted, it is so beautifully expressed in a concealed manner that it becomes by itself revealing. By itself revealing. He doesn't say, oh, now Krishna has come, now Kali has come. No. The power of poetry is there in that, the symbolic power of poetry. And therefore, it is much richer than a simple prose writing. You can keep on unfolding the symbolism again and again and again and again and again and again. Kali, the very word Kali, Kala, time, it is in dynamism of time, things have to happen, the feminine. So, if you are reading Savitri for the first time, this will look terribly confusing. What this means, what this really means, what he is really saying. But if you have read Sri Aurobindo sufficiently, then the reference to this passage, these two sentences, you can trace in number of places of his writings. The image of Krishna, the description of Krishna and Kali appears at a number of places in a record of yoga. in a record of yoga. Actually, these two sentences belong to the very first draft of Savitri, which was written in 1916, 1918. This description belongs to 1918, the Arya period, which was also the period of record of yoga. So, record of yoga combined with the Arya draft tells us very clearly the relationship between this description and Krishna and Kali. It was so obvious for him. Number of places you have got Krishna and Kali in record of yoga, you see, about the same time, 1912 to 1921. So you see. And this draft, this particular passage belongs to that period, you see. So you can really connect this description with Krishna and Kali if you see collaterally those passages also, you see. In fact, Krishna and Kali is much older than the Arya period, much older than a record of yoga. Krishna and Kali belong to the earliest spiritual realizations of Sri Aurobindo. It belongs to 1908 when he was in Alipur jail.
Yes, then he mentioned it.
When he was in Alipur jail, Krishna and Kali. Yeah. Who? Of the early period of Sri Aurobindo's spiritual civilizations, in the midst of his hectic political activities, when he was in prison, he wrote this poem. It is an example embedded in his poem, Who? A composition dated sometime 1908, 1909. In the jail, he wrote this poem. We have love for a boy who is dark and resplendent. A woman is Lord of us, naked and fierce. We have seen him amused on the snow of the mountain. We have watched him at work in heart of the spears. We will tell the whole world of his ways and his cunning. He has a rapture of torture and passion and pain. He delights in our sorrow and drives us to weeping, then lures to the joy and his beauty again. All music is only the sound of his laughter. All beauty, the smile of his passionate bliss. Our lives are his heartbeat. Our rapture, the bridal of Radha and Krishna. Our love is their kiss. His strength that is loud in the blare of the trumpet, and he rides in the car and he strikes in the spear. He slays without stain and is full of compassion. He wars for the world and its ultimate year. In the sweep of the world, in the surge of the ages, ineffably mighty, majestic, and pure, beyond the last pinnacle seized by the thinker, he is throned in his seat that forever endure, etc., etc. Now, basically, he has described here in this line, in the very opening of this one. We love for a boy who is dark and resplendent, 1908. A woman is Lord of us, naked and fierce. That is Kali. Now, although the rest of the poem describes more about him than her, but she is doing all the time because of him. Again, in the aphorisms, when will the world change into the model of heaven? When all mankind becomes boys and girls together with God revealed as Krishna and Kali. The happiest boy and the strongest girl playing together in the gardens of paradise. Now, it is not going to be in the gardens of paradise, it is going to be in the gardens of the earth. You see, the summit, etc., etc. Yeah. Well, all the notes are there, you can go through them. The mother says here, a resplendent change has taken place in the mother. It was a direct physical contact with Sri Aurobindo which had brought about this change. Mother says while she was walking on the terrace, Krishna used to walk along with her. And she knew who Krishna is, you see. If Sri Aurobindo went by the spiritual or Vedantic path, the mother was the occult psychic tantric. In the fulfillment of the two, it is done the work of Krishna and Kali. The great thing that had happened just within 6 months of the momentous 29th March meeting can be perceived from what the mother wrote on 25th September 1914, her diary note. A new light shall break upon the earth, a new world shall be born, and the things that were promised shall be fulfilled. After meeting Sri Aurobindo, this is what she wrote, you see. So, this is the Krishna Kali work. Without him, she cannot do this work. And after, the passage in its earliest form, found in a notebook used by Sri Aurobindo in 1916 for the first known draft of the poem, is remarkably similar to the final version. It begins at the bottom of the page, etc. Pursuing her in her fall implacably sweet, a face was over her which seemed a youth. This is exactly what we have got here. Crowned as with peacock plumes of gorgeous hue, framing a sapphire whose heart-disturbing smile insatiably attracted to delight, etc. Yeah. During the record period 1912-20, we see the Krishna Kali aspect occurring repeatedly. What I was saying. Yeah, this is the passage, full passage, the first draft. Complete as it is. He has retained that thing as it is fully. This is an aphorism. Be wide in me, O Varuna. Be mighty in me, O Indra. O sun, be very bright and luminous. O moon, be full of charm and sweetness. Be fierce and terrible, O Rudra. Be impetuous and swift, O Marul. He's asking what various gods should be. Be strong and bold, O Aryama. Be voluptuous and pleasurable, O Bhaga. Be tender and kind and loving, passionate, O Mitra. Be bright and revealing, O dawn, O night. Be solemn and pregnant, O life. Be full, ready and buoyant. O death, lead my steps from mansion to mansion. Harmonize all these, O Brahmanaspati. Let me not be subject to these gods, O Kali. That is what Kali is. That is what. Yes, all these gods will function. They will do this. But I will not be bound by what each one will do individually. I want this from him. All those things. But I will not be bound by one of them. Therefore, make me free from this God. Give me, but make me free. Let me not be subject to this God, O Kali. Now that is what Kali's work is, basically. That is what Kali's work is, you see. Eyes in which nature's blind, ecstatic life sprang from some spirit's passionate content, missioned her to the whirling dance of earth. So now everything is joyous, joyous. See the rhythm also. Missioned her to the whirling dance of earth. Dance of earth is become dance now. See. She was orbiting, but now it has become a dance. Amid the headlong rapture of her fall, held like a bird in a child-satisfied hand, in an enamored grasp, her spirit strove, admitting no release till time should end, and as the fruit of that mysterious joy, she kept within her strong, embosoming soul, like a flower hidden in the heart of spring, the soul of Satyavan, drawn down by her inextricably in that mighty lamp. She's coming down and holding the soul of Satyavan like a bird very close to her heart, you see. What a beautiful description, you see. Like a flower hidden in the heart of spring. The spring is there, but the flower is not seen. You see. Kept the strong, embosoming soul, the soul of Satyavan, drawn down by her inextricably in that mighty lamp, you see. Like a bird, she's carrying that soul like a bird. Now, this image bird appears number of times in Savitri. As might his soul fly like a hunted bird, escaping but tiring from a world of storm, and a quiet reach like a remembered breast. In heaven, no safety and splendid soft repose, safety and splendid soft repose. One could drink life back in streams of honey fire, recover the lost habit of happiness, feel her bright, rapturous, glorious ambience, and bring joy in her warmth and colors rule. So the bird is finding soft repose in her. That is what we have got. A bird is finding soft repose in Savitri. Here is Satyavan in the hands of Savitri. She is holding him like a bird. 91.6. All mights and greatnesses shall join in her. Beauty shall walk celestial on the earth. Delight shall sleep in the cloud net of her hair, and in her body as on his homing tree. So he is the homing tree. She is the homing tree for him. And in her body as on his homing tree, immortal love shall beat his glorious wing. So that is love. Satyavan as a bird, she is carrying, and he feels that he is on the homing tree there, you see. 28.12. Take dream-hued rest like birds on timeless trees. So he is taking now rest on a timeless tree. Savitri. The soul of Satyavan drawn down by her inextricably. Now he says, soul of Satyavan drawn down by her. Yes, it is true. It is she who has brought him back. Invisible heavens in a thronging flight soared past her as she fell. She's coming down, down, down. As she's coming down, as if all the heavens are rising up, climbing up. World after world are rising. She is coming. She is not moving. The worlds are moving up. You see. Now this is the, I think, only example in poetry where you have got vertical relativity. See? It is not, she is not moving, the heavens are going up. See? Vertical relativity. There is the example of Ennis when he goes away from Troy, takes the boat and goes away from Troy. Then the poet Virgil, he describes as the boat starts sailing away from the shores, It is not a boat which is moving away from the shore, but the shores are receiving back. So that is the example of horizontal relativity. You see. Invisible heavens in a thronging flight soared past her as she fell. Then all the blind and near attraction of the earth compelled fearful rapidities or downward bliss. You see, that's the beauty of it, you see.
Fearful. What is fearful?
Then all the blind and near attraction of the earth. See, that is what we have.
Yeah.
Compel fearful rapidities of downward bliss. Fearful because they will drown us. We are afraid of receiving them.
Oh. We are afraid of the bliss.
Yeah. They are so great, so majesty. Then all the blind and near attraction of the earth compel fearful rapidities of downward bliss. If that bliss comes with that force, with that etc., with the joy, lost in the giddy proneness of that speed, world, sinking, overcome, she disappeared. Again, you got three adjectives here. Three adjectives here. Lost in the giddy proneness of the speed, world, sinking, overcome, she disappeared. Like a leaf spinning from the tree of heaven in broad unconsciousness as in a pool. So the leaf is falling in the pool, you see, whirling, swimming with that. See. A hospitable softness drew her in. So she is welcome now here, hospitable softness, into a wonder of miraculous depth. Above her closed the darkness of great wings, and she was buried in a mother's breast. So that is the softness. The mother has received her. The mother earth has received Savitri. My child, you come back, come back, come back. She is happy. Above her closed a darkness of great wings, and she was buried in a mother's breast. So Savitri has come back to earth with all that rapture, with joy, into a wonder of miraculous depths. Above her closed a darkness of great wings, and she was buried in a mother's breast. What poetry! Now something different here. So he has described how Savitri has come back carrying the soul of Satyavan. So actually what has happened is Savitri has gone through the void into the transcendent, up over there, and now she is coming from the other side down below. See? This is the unique kind of a journey which Savitri alone has done. Passing through the gate of death, reaching the transcendent, passing through the gate of zero, of void, reaching the transcendent and coming back here. Then from a timeless plane that watches time, a spirit gazed out upon destiny. Savitri has come back, but then the contact of the timeless and time is not lost. From a timeless plane that watches time from above in the transcendent, a spirit gazed out upon destiny of earth, of this creation, what is going to happen in the future. The guardian spirit, the governing spirit, the great being who has concern for this creation, this earth, a spirit gazed out upon destiny. In its endless moment, saw the ages pass. So the entire history, the entire chronicles, the entire eon, he is seeing and observing the spirit of evolution, of manifestation. It is he who is watching and supervising. All still was in the silence of the gods. What is going to happen? How it is going to happen? All was in the silence of the gods. Nobody knows about that. The gods are silent yet. What a line, see. All still was in a silence to the God. Because destiny, how destiny is going to unfold, that has remained in the silence of the gods. Not yet discovered, not yet disclosed, not yet known, not yet spoken of. But the Spirit is watching upon the destiny. All still was in a silence to the gods. The prophet moment covered limitless space. So that moment when he is watching that thing and cast into the heart of hurrying time a diamond light of the eternal peace. So what has come first now is the eternal peace. A crimson seed of God's felicity, a glance from the gaze fell of undying love. So what is he watching in the hurrying time? Peace, felicity, love. That is what has happened in that prophet moment. In the silence of the gods, this is what has happened. The prophet moment covered limitless space and cast into the heart of hurrying time a diamond light of eternal peace, a crimson seed of God's felicity. A seed shall be sown in death's tremendous hour. That was the boon Ashwapati had received from the Divine Mother. A seed shall be sown in death's tremendous hour. That tremendous hour of death now sees the sowing of the crimson seed. Crimson seed of what? Crimson seed of God's bliss, of God's felicity. A glance from the gaze fell of undying love. Glance from the gaze. Whose gaze? Whose glance? Of the Spirit who is watching the destiny. He is watching the Spirit. A Spirit gazed out upon destiny. A glance from the gaze fell of undying love. A wonderful face looked out with deathless eyes. A hand was strong, a wonderful face looked out with deathless eyes. A hand was seen drawing the golden bar that guards imperishable secrecy. So now that face is there, he has cast the seed, he has thrown his glance of love, his job is done. Now he is closing the door. He is closing the door. Savitri has exited from the door is now closed.
We cannot go.
You cannot go. No, you cannot go. It's not necessary because she has come now. Savitri has lost the paradise of heaven, of that God, but she has brought along with her that paradise here. So let him close the door, it doesn't matter. Because his gaze is there always on destiny, watching. Therefore, it is the silence of God. All the secrecies, all that has to happen, that is held back in the transcendent, not expressed. Secrecies, they are silence, they are there. And therefore, the door is closed. They will come out, they will open out. A wonderful, see, the prophet moment covered limitless space, A glance from the gaze fell of undying love. A wonderful face looked out with deathless eyes. A hand was seen drawing the golden bar that guard the imperishable secrecies. All these potentialities and possibilities, they are preserved, they are locked, they are kept, they are treasured there. For what? That they come out. You are not told about them, but they are there. A key turned in a mystic lock of time. So the door is closed now. A key turned in a mystic lock of time.
Until next time.
Yeah. So, but where the silence of the gods had passed, a greater harmony from the stillness born, surprise with joy and sweetness, yearning hearts, and ecstasy, and a laughter and a cry. What does he want? What is one? But where the silence of the gods, all the secrecies are held back. Those secrecies will come out as things keep on happening in the course of time here. When the work of Krishna and Kali progresses here upon earth, then those secrecies will get revealed one by one, one by one, one by one. See, you'll get revealed. But where the silence of the gods had passed, a greater harmony from the stillness born, surprised with joy and sweetness, yearning heart and ecstasy. But that is what is important, is yearning hearts. An ecstasy and a laughter and a cry, a power leaned down, a happiness found its home. Over wide earth brooded the infinite bliss. Over wide earth brooded infinite bliss. Wide earth, Brahat Bhumi. Happiness found its home. See, so what has happened is, basically, power leaned down first. And then, following that power is happiness. So what has happened is, power is coming down, happiness has come down, bliss has come down. A power leaned down, a happiness found its home. Over wide earth brooded the infinite bliss. So where the silence of God has passed, this is what has happened. So I think we close with that. So this is the great moment.
Yeah, she should have put a date there.
Pardon me?
You should have put a date there.
Date? Who? Shebindu.
That happens then.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but this is timeless. But it's timeless. See, and then this is timeless because
2,500.
no, it has no meaning because he has the entire vision of the whole thing. Although he has physically written at this time, this time, this time, this time, he had all these things in 1908 itself.
Yeah, I know, but
In 1908, he has, in a way, he has written the whole of Savitri in 1908.
for us, we don't know.
This particular final version of the canto is around 1948.
1948,
Around 1948.